In this video, we shall be looking at multiplication of numbers in base 5 and base 8, and also subtraction of numbers in base 8 and in base 12. Let us begin with our first example here. We have 242 base 5 multiplied by 14 base 5. We're going to say 4 times 2 is 8 in base 10. But because we are working in base 5, we're going to ask ourselves, how many times will 5 go into 8? 5 will go into 8 one time. Remainder what? 3. So you write down the remainder here, 3, and bring down the base 5. 4 multiplied by 4 is 16, plus this one is 17. How many times will 5 go into 17? 5 will go into 17 3 times. The remainder is 2. We put it down here. 4 multiplied by 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. Base 5 will go into 11 2 times, remainder 1. So we are going to write the 2 here and 1 at the back. Now, notice that in this last column, we wrote the number of times that the base went into our result at this left hand side and the remainder at the right hand side. So let us proceed. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. We can add a 0 here and put our base 5. If you notice, for this last column, the result that we obtain from the multiplication in all the cases is smaller than the base. So take note that once the result is smaller than the base, you have to write it down like that. Now after that, we perform addition. 3 plus 0, 3. It is lesser than this base 5, so we just write it as 3. Bring down base 5. 2 plus 2, 4. 1 plus 4, 5. Now 5 will go into 5 one time, so you write it down here. Remainder 0. Put down 0. 2 plus 2, 4, plus 1, 5. 5 will go into 5 one time, remainder 0. So what we have is that 242 base 5 multiplied by 14 base 5 is 10043 base 5. Example 2. We have 356 base 8 multiplied by 42 base 8. 2 times 6 is 12. 8 will go into 12 one time, remainder 4. Bring down the base 8. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. 8 will go into 11 one time, remainder 3. 2 times 3 is 6, plus this one 7. It is lesser than the base, so we write it down as 7. 4 times 6 is 24. 8 will go into 24 3 times, remainder 0. 4 times 5 is 20, plus this 3 is 23. Now 8 will go into 23 2 times, write it down here, remainder what? 7. 4 times 3 is 12, plus this 2 is 14. Now 8 will go into 14 one time, remainder what? 6. So we can add a 0 here and base 8. So here will be addition. 4 plus 0 is 4. 3 plus 0 is 3. So we have 7 plus 7 is 14. Base 8 will go into 14 one time. So write the 1 here, remainder 6. 1 plus 6 is 7, lesser than the base, so we write it like that. And of course, we bring down this one and add our base 8. So what we have is that 356 base 8 multiplied by 42 base 8 is 17634 base 8. Let us move to the subtraction in base 8 and in base 12. Example 1. we have 405 base 8 minus 217 base 8. 5 minus 7, it cannot. Now, because here is 0, we cannot borrow from here. So we have to start from here. Borrowing 1 from this 4, we'll be left with 3. Now, that 1 that we borrow is equal to this base 8. So we write 8 here. Now, we are going to borrow 1 from this 8 and we'll be left with 7. The 1 that we borrow from this 8 will be equal to this base 8. And that 8 plus this 5 is going to give us 13. So 13 minus 7 is 6. So write down 6 here. I'll bring down our base 8. 7 minus 1, 6. 3 minus 2 is 1. So what we have is that 405 base 8 minus 217 base 8 is 166 base 8. Example 2, we have 905 base 12 minus 509 base 12. 5 minus 9, it cannot because 9 is greater than 5. So we are going to start borrowing from this 9. Borrowing 1 from this 9 will be left with 8. The one that we borrow will be equal to the base, which is 12. And we are still going to borrow 1 from this 12, and it will be left with 11. The one that we borrow from this 12 will be equal to the base 12. Adding into this 5 will give us what? 17. Now 17 minus 9 is going to give us 8. So we bring down this base 12. 11 minus 0 is 11. Now take note that 11 in base 12, you can either write it as E, which is using the initials of the spelling of 11, or you can write it as B, which is following the alphabet in hexadecimal. So I'm going to say 11 minus 0 is 11. I'm going to write it as B. 11 is B, while 10 is A. But you can decide to use the initials, which will make 11 E and 10 to be T. In my previous videos for addition in base 12, I used E, which is the initial for the spelling. I use it for 11. So you can decide to use it also. Now 8 minus 5 is what? 3. So you write it down here. So what we have is that 905 base 12 minus 509 base 12 is 3b8 base 12. Now if you use the initials for the spelling of 11, you are going to be getting 3e8 base 12.